Some predict the next evolutionary stage of man will be our melding with machines. Once this happens, and non-biological components gradually account for more of our bodies, could we reach a stage where a fully artificial entity is considered to have direct lineage from biological man? And if so, does this mean that humans would be able to cheat death, since machines cannot die? This forthcoming scenario poses us with a question. If entities created in the womb are said to be an extension of our life forms, why not the creations of our mind? At present, human consciousness seems fully intertwined with our physical bodies. If you try to separate them, and I wouldn't advise this, both parts die. But if one day we develop the ability to transport consciousness, will we have to redefine what life and death mean? For example, if your body died and you were able to store your mind in another vessel, you could be said to be still alive by virtue of your mind's continued existence. Yet, in reverse, the parameters become less clear. If you put someone else's mind in your body, then most would consider you dead. But what if you made a copy of your mind and you placed it back into your original body after the previous mind died? Is this the start of a new life, or the continuation of the old one? And if a version of your mind remains alive somewhere, albeit as a copy, does this count as life beyond death? I don't want to be considered alive if my mind is left on an old hard drive in my grandson's attic. That is no way to live, at all. We can identify and explain what a biological body is, but we can't say the same for consciousness. Recent observations of the brains of hospital patients who had biologically died showed signs of conscious thought continuing. The scientific definition of life, death, and consciousness is not complete. It may never be. They will be improved upon, though. And when this happens, we may be able to answer some profound questions. The most important query regarding life would be the origin of consciousness. Can consciousness create itself from organic cells? Or does it arrive in our brains from an external source? If it's the latter, then why must it die with our bodies? Can consciousness only exist in tandem with a physical entity? Or can it sustain itself and remain aware outside of it? If so, then we have no definition for either life or death, meaning that neither may exist as we know it. Much research has been done on the topic of consciousness through the field of biocentrism, which says that death is probably not real, or at the very least, it is not as permanent as we define it. Consciousness, and therefore life, might move across realities via the multiverse to continue living. Dr. Robert Lanza, a biocentrism proponent, thinks that when this happens, time reboots for that particular life form, and it lives on in an alternative point in space-time. When your biological presence fades, the energy of consciousness funnels away on the quantum level to another world, with death described as being a reboot that leads to all potentialities, including one reality where you are a video game character.